The rain had started as a light drizzle but was gradually intensifying as Cristiano Ronaldo's car navigated the quiet residential streets of Madrid's Carabanchel district. He had just finished a private dinner with his mother, who was visiting from Portugal, and had chosen to take the scenic route home through neighborhoods that reminded him of his own humble beginnings. There was something about driving through working-class areas that kept him grounded, that reminded him of the struggles his own family had faced and the values that had shaped him long before fame and fortune had transformed his life. As his driver turned onto a narrow street lined with modest apartment buildings and small family businesses, Ronaldo noticed an elderly woman sitting alone at a bus stop, her shoulders shaking in a way that suggested she was crying. The sight struck him immediately, not just because of her obvious distress, but because of something familiar about her posture that reminded him of his own grandmother during difficult times. The bus stop was poorly lit and offered little protection from the weather, and the woman appeared to be getting soaked by the rain that was now falling more steadily. Without hesitation, Ronaldo asked his driver to pull over. "Wait here," he said quietly, grabbing an umbrella from the car and stepping out into the rain. As he approached the bus stop, he could see that the woman was indeed crying, her tears mixing with the raindrops on her weathered face. She appeared to be in her 70s, dressed in simple but clean clothing that suggested modest circumstances but maintained dignity. In her hands, she clutched a small purse and what appeared to be a letter or document that she was trying to protect from the rain. "Excuse me, señora," Ronaldo said gently in Spanish, opening his umbrella to provide shelter for both of them. "Are you all right? Can I help you with something?" The woman looked up at him with eyes red from crying, and for a moment she seemed startled by the presence of a stranger offering assistance. When she recognized who was speaking to her, her expression shifted to one of complete bewilderment, as if she couldn't quite process that one of the world's most famous athletes was standing at a bus stop in her neighborhood, offering her shelter from the rain. You're Cristiano Ronaldo," she whispered, her voice hoarse from crying. "What are you doing here? This isn't your neighborhood." "Right now, I'm just someone who saw that you needed help," Ronaldo replied, adjusting the umbrella to ensure she was fully protected from the rain. "My name is Maria," she said, wiping her eyes with a tissue that was already soaked. "I'm sorry you have to see me like this. I don't usually cry in public like this." "There's nothing to apologize for, Maria," Ronaldo said, settling onto the bench beside her while maintaining the umbrella coverage. "Sometimes life gives us more than we can handle alone. Would you like to talk about what's troubling you?" Maria looked at him with a mixture of gratitude and uncertainty, clearly struggling with whether to burden a stranger, even a famous one, with her personal problems. But there was something in Ronaldo's manner, a genuine warmth and patience that seemed to break down her defenses. She took a shaky breath and began to speak. "My grandson," she said, her voice breaking again. "My grandson Omar was supposed to come home from university today. He's been studying engineering in Barcelona for 3 years, working so hard, making our family so proud. But yesterday, immigration police came to his dormitory and took him away." Ronaldo's expression grew serious as he began to understand the source of Maria's distress. "They say his student visa expired, but that's not true," Maria continued, pulling out the document she had been protecting from the rain. "This is his visa renewal application. He submitted it months ago. All the paperwork was correct, but the bureaucracy was slow, and now they're saying he was in the country illegally. They want to deport him back to Morocco." The story was becoming clearer, and Ronaldo felt his anger rising at the injustice Maria was describing. He had seen similar situations before, talented young people whose dreams were destroyed by immigration systems that seemed designed to find reasons to exclude rather than include. "Omar is such a good boy," Maria said, tears flowing freely now. "He works 2 jobs to pay for his studies. He sends money home to help his mother. He volunteers at a community center teaching children. He's never been in trouble, never broken any laws. All he wants is to finish his degree and become an engineer so he can help build bridges and schools. But now they're treating him like a criminal." Ronaldo listened intently, understanding that Maria needed to tell her story as much as she needed practical help. "His mother is my daughter," Maria continued. "She came to Spain 25 years ago as a young woman, worked cleaning houses and kitchens, saved every penny so her children could have better lives than she did. Omar was the first person in our family ever to go to university. We were so proud when he was accepted, when he started getting good grades, when his professors said he was one of their brightest students." "Where is Omar now?" Ronaldo asked gently. "In a detention center outside Madrid, waiting for his deportation hearing," Maria replied, her voice filled with despair. "They're saying it will happen next week unless we can find a lawyer who can prove his visa application was submitted properly and on time. But lawyers cost money we don't have, and even if we could afford one, there's no guarantee they could work fast enough to prevent the deportation." Ronaldo was quiet for a moment, processing not just Maria's story, but the broader implications of what she was describing. Here was a family that had followed all the rules, worked hard, contributed to Spanish society, and was being torn apart by an immigration system that seemed more interested in finding technical violations than in recognizing the human value of people like Omar. "Maria," Ronaldo said finally, "I want you to know that what's happening to your grandson is wrong. It's not just unfair to Omar, it's a loss for Spain. We should be encouraging young people like him to study here, to build their lives here, to contribute their talents to our country." Maria looked at him with surprise, perhaps not expecting such a strong statement from someone whose public image was usually apolitical. "You really think so?" she asked. "I sometimes feel like people see us as outsiders, as people who don't belong here, even though my daughter has been paying taxes and contributing to this society for decades." "Maria, let me tell you something," Ronaldo said, his voice filled with conviction. "Some of the best people I know are immigrants or children of immigrants. They work harder, dream bigger, and appreciate opportunities more than people who were born with everything handed to them. Spain is stronger because of people like your daughter and your grandson, not weaker." He paused, looking directly at Maria. "And anyone who can't see that is blind to what really makes a country great." Ronaldo pulled out his phone and began making calls, starting with his legal team and moving on to contacts in immigration law and government relations. As Maria listened to him speak with lawyers and officials, describing Omar's case and insisting on urgent action, she began to understand that this chance encounter was about to change everything for her family. "I'm arranging for one of the best immigration lawyers in Madrid to take Omar's case immediately," Ronaldo explained after finishing his calls. "He'll be at the detention center first thing tomorrow morning, and he's confident that Omar's visa situation can be resolved quickly once someone with authority reviews the paperwork properly." Maria stared at him in disbelief. "But I can't afford to pay for a lawyer like that. Those lawyers charge thousands of euros." "You're not paying for anything," Ronaldo said firmly. "This is my contribution to making sure that good people like Omar get the chances they deserve. But I want to do more than just fix the immediate problem." Over the next hour, as they continued to sit at the bus stop, with Ronaldo maintaining umbrella coverage and his driver waiting patiently in the car, he learned more about Omar's story and his family's journey. The young man was indeed exceptional, not just academically, but in his commitment to helping others. He had been volunteering with refugee children, teaching them Spanish, and helping them navigate the school system. He had started a small organization that provided tutoring for immigrant students who were struggling with language barriers. He had even designed a proposal for low-cost housing that could help address Spain's affordable housing crisis. "Maria," Ronaldo said, "I want to offer Omar something beyond just fixing his visa situation. If he's interested, I'd like to provide him with a full scholarship to complete his engineering degree, plus funding for his housing and living expenses, so he doesn't have to work 2 jobs while studying. And when he graduates, I'll help him start his own engineering firm so he can begin implementing some of those ideas he has for helping communities." Maria's response was immediate and overwhelming. She broke down crying again, but this time they were tears of relief and gratitude rather than despair. "Why would you do this for us?" she asked through her tears. "You don't know us. You don't owe us anything." "Maria, I do this because I believe in justice," Ronaldo replied. "I do this because young people like Omar represent the future we should be building together. I do this because I've been blessed with resources and platform, and using them to help good people achieve their dreams is the only way those blessings have any meaning." He continued, his voice growing more passionate. "But I also do this because I'm tired of seeing immigrant families treated like they're problems to be solved rather than assets to be celebrated. Omar isn't a burden on Spanish society. He's a gift to it. His ideas, his energy, his determination, these are exactly what Spain needs more of, not less of." The bus that Maria had been waiting for finally arrived, but she made no move to board it. Instead, she sat with Ronaldo, listening as he made additional calls to arrange for Omar's immediate release from detention and to set up the scholarship and support systems that would allow the young man to complete his studies without financial stress. "There's something else I want to do," Ronaldo said as he finished his calls. "I want Omar's story to be heard. With your permission, I'd like to share what happened to your family, not to embarrass anyone, but to highlight how many talented young people are being lost because of immigration policies that don't make sense. Sometimes the best way to prevent injustice is to shine light on it." Maria nodded enthusiastically. "If sharing our story can help other families avoid what we've been through, then please, tell everyone." 3 days later, Omar was released from detention with his visa status fully resolved and his path to graduation secured. The immigration lawyer that Ronaldo had hired discovered that Omar's visa renewal had actually been approved weeks earlier, but the paperwork had been lost in bureaucratic processing. The young man's detention had been completely unnecessary, a fact that supported Ronaldo's decision to speak publicly about the case. When Omar met Ronaldo for the first time, at a dinner arranged at Maria's small apartment, the young engineer was overwhelmed not just by the practical support he had received, but by Ronaldo's genuine interest in his ideas and his dreams. They spent hours discussing Omar's housing designs, his community development proposals, and his vision for using engineering to address social problems. "You know what impresses me most about you?" Ronaldo told Omar as the evening concluded. "It's not your grades or your technical skills, though those are excellent. It's that you've been through a traumatic experience that could have made you bitter or afraid, but instead, you're more determined than ever to help other people facing similar challenges. That's the kind of character that changes the world." Omar's story, when Ronaldo shared it publicly, became a catalyst for broader discussions about immigration policy and the treatment of talented young people who wanted to contribute to Spanish society. The case helped bring attention to the bureaucratic problems that created unnecessary hardships for immigrants and prompted reforms that prevented similar situations from occurring in the future. But perhaps more importantly, it became an example of how individual acts of kindness and justice could create ripple effects that extended far beyond the immediate beneficiaries. Maria continued to live in her modest apartment in Carabanchel, but her life was transformed by the knowledge that her grandson's future was secure and that his talents would be able to flourish in the country that had become his home. She became an advocate for other immigrant families facing similar challenges, working with organizations that Ronaldo helped fund to provide legal assistance and support for people navigating the immigration system. Omar graduated with honors from his engineering program and, true to Ronaldo's promise, started his own firm specializing in affordable housing and community development projects. His first major project was a housing complex in Carabanchel that provided dignified, affordable homes for immigrant families, many of whom had stories similar to his own. Years later, when Omar's engineering firm had grown into one of Madrid's most respected social development companies, he would always point to that rainy evening when his grandmother met Cristiano Ronaldo at a bus stop as the moment when everything changed for his family. But he would also say that the most important thing he learned from Ronaldo wasn't about business or success, but about the responsibility that comes with having resources and influence to help others who are fighting for their dreams against systems that seem designed to crush them.